And hello YouTube, this is GSmaniamsmart, and today we're doing a brand new video for Gaming with JS, and today we're going to talk about Guild Wars 2 and all the newsy type of stuff that's been released. I know I haven't talked too much about recent news or blog posts that Arena has released, so we've sort of been focusing a bit on the new content that they released as well as the patch. But there actually is quite a bit to talk about relevant to E3. There was an interview that someone did during E3, and there is some pretty cool information in there. I want to go over that. I want to go over Skritt Week, which I think just launched this morning. Also, some of the new blogs that they've released, some of the new videos, and the guild chat that they also released and uploaded to their YouTube channel today as well. And I want to touch on Legendary Armor because we did talk about that in the last video, 2 videos ago, because last video was the raid boss guide. So 2 videos ago, let me actually start the Legendary Armor because why not? 2 videos ago, we talked about Legendary Armor and how some people were already getting very close or completing the entire first collection of the Legendary Armor, and dropping recipes, dropping items into the Mystic Forge and finding new recipes that you could possibly even already start crafting. You couldn't craft it, but the animations would work. And we were all wondering whether we could complete Legendary Armor already. And I was very pessimistic about it because it wasn't stated in the original patch notes, so why would we be able to even craft Legendary Armor? And it seems like that is very accurate. A developer actually came on the Guild Wars 2 forums and confirmed that you won't be able to even craft your Legendary Armor. You won't be able to get anywhere near to finishing yet because there's actually a second collection for the entire set of Legendary Armor. So you'll be able to finish the first collection, and then the second collection you'll have to complete as well, but the second collection you won't even be able to complete yet because a lot of the materials that you'll need for the second collection are going to be required for you to collect in future content. Now, this is particularly interesting to me because if you think about it, Collection 1, we did a lot with 4 maps on Heart of Thorns, Auric Basin, Tangled Depths, and all those. And then they also tied in together the raids, obviously, right? At least now we know that Collection 2, even though it's not able to be finished right now, but you can talk to the NPC that's in Lion's Arch, I believe, that's in charge of legendary weapons and all that stuff, and legendary armors, and they do tell you some of the materials that you need, some of the things that you'll need, so you can start collecting them. But what's interesting to me is that they're actually going to be tying in future raids maybe, or maybe just this raid and Living World Season 3. Either they're going to tie together Living World Season 3 and the current raid, or maybe they'll tie in Living World Season 3 in the next raid. Who knows? But at least collection number 2, you'll still have some work to do, and future content will be relevant to it. So that's cool. Kind of sucky though, because we thought we can get Legendary Armor, but quite frankly that means it just gives them more time to develop the Legendary Armor much more efficiently and put a lot more quality effort into that, because as we discussed earlier in the week, people were complaining about the fact that the armor should be cultural armor so that none of the clipping happens and it can actually look really good. So hopefully that's why the legendary collection is so large and so long, so they can have more time to develop the armor, and the armor actually looks good, and it can be maybe cultural armor, which is what everyone wanted as well. So that's sort of the little bit of information that we got on legendary armor. Let's go ahead and talk about Skritt Week real quick. I don't want to spend too long on this because it's just gem store stuff. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this like the week where we get like a free item every day from the Black Lion store? There's a note at the bottom of the blog post that says, "Oh, check the Black Lion company every day for like more stuff or whatever." Isn't this the week where we get like a free item from the Black Lion Trading Company? I may be wrong, but I remember they do it like every year. I remember last year we got it, so I don't know if this is the same time frame right now where it happens, but if you know, definitely, well, if you know, let us know in the comments section if you end up seeing something like that, or if this is the week. I'm going to be checking the Black Lion store every day from now on just to see if there's something in there, because maybe this is the time of the year where they do it. However, apart from that, you can get the new glitter bomb harvesting tool, which looks really cool. It's 1,000 gems, which is a bit pricey for me. I don't think I'm gonna get it because 1,000 gems is a huge amount. And it's just a harvesting sickle. If you have like one of the other harvesting sickles that you can constantly use that never runs out, maybe it's not really worth, but the animation is really cool. I've seen some people complain about that it might be too long of an animation. You can cancel it a little earlier though, but it's an interesting idea. It looks really cool. I just think it's a bit too pricey. You can also get all the home gathering nodes now for 3,200 gems. Those are obviously a special offer, I believe, where they're all packed together so you can buy them all at once. I don't think I'm going to invest in that either. That's way too many gems for me too. And the Crystal Arbiter Appearance Pack, as well as the Crystal Savant and Crystal Nomad outfits are on sale as well. So if you're interested in any of those sales, or if you're interested in any of the gem stuff, that's basically the summary there for you. And check the Black Lion Company and I guess use your gems if you want to use them. Let's go ahead and jump into the blog that they released, as well as the combat and audio videos and the guild chat video. So remember how they released the concept and the design of the raid videos for Stronghold of the Faithful, I think last week? Well, recently they also released combat and audio for Stronghold of the Faithful. And these are some pretty interesting videos. I specifically like the audio video because you really got to see how the team comes together and creates all the audio sounds for, the Keep Construct boss specifically. And it's really cool to see how small, minute things like that require so much effort still. And a lot of times we take it for granted. Like, not many of us pay attention to the sounds that the Keep Construct is making. Not many of us pay attention to, a lot of the mob sounds. I certainly don't. It's not something that I'm, particularly listening for. But it's cool to see how much work actually goes into a lot of the audio work in Guild Wars 2, because a lot of their audio is in-house audio where they make it from their own materials or their own voice or their own sounds. They really have original sounds and they create it on their own. So it's cool to see that they take a lot of pride in that, and it's cool to see, sometimes they give us examples of how they make things. So if you're interested in that, definitely watch it. The combat video is also really interesting. You can see some of the developers running the Keep Construct boss, and interestingly enough, we also saw a percentage number at the top of the health bar for the Keep Construct, and that really gets me thinking, why can't we have a percentage marker at the top of our health bars on top of the boss's health bars when we're doing the raids? I think that would be really helpful and really cool to have. I just think it's going to be I think it's just going to cause some drama in PvE content, especially with upscaling and all that, so maybe that's why they're reluctant to put it in. But I think raids should have it because it can be very helpful, especially in Keep Construct when you're about to phase into 66 to 33% health. And it just surprised me that in the dev mode, when they were showing us their battle with the dev team fighting the Keep Construct, they had this percentage bar, but we don't get to have that. I think it'd be really helpful, actually. So if you want to watch those two videos, they talk a little bit about how they created the fight and how they created the battle and how the statues were originally never planned for the raid, but then they added it. They're fairly short videos, so they're not very long, like 5-minute videos. If you want to watch those two, they are pretty interesting. Now, they also recently released a rating retrospective blog, and it can be an interesting read, especially if you're one of those people who's always been thinking, well, they're focusing too much on raids, the game sucks now because I don't like raids, and they're not focusing on PvE or PvP stuff, it's all just raids. I think after you read this blog post, you'll get a better understanding of why raids are being so heavily focused on. It's not really that they're being focused on, it's just that the raid team is very efficient at releasing these raids, and that's just how it works. I mean, there are other teams who are working on other parts of the game. It's just that the raid team is doing a really good job and getting things out very quickly. So maybe it'll change your mind. The game really isn't focusing on raids. It's just a lot of the content's coming out quick because they can release it that quick. I mean, I can guarantee you, if they could release Living World Season 3, they would release it very soon, but they just can't because it's not done yet. So interesting read though. You can see a lot of comments from the developers who actually write in the blog. I think there's a good amount of developers who are on the raid team who give their opinions in the raids and how they feel about it and what they work on. It's an interesting read if you're interested in that. But that's sort of just the the general synopsis and summary of the blog post. If you want to read it, you can check on the Guild Wars 2 main page in their news section. All the blog posts are there. And lastly, I want to talk about Guild Chat, and then we'll head into the E3 stuff, which is the most exciting part for me, I think. In Guild Chat, they didn't really talk too much about anything crazy. Once again, the topic is raids. Everyone's talking about raids, and especially Stronghold of the Faithful. I feel like they really like this raid, and it's mainly because they put a lot of heart into this raid. In the guild chat, they said that a lot of the items, a lot of the NPCs, a lot of the things you see in the Stronghold of the Faithful raid references right back to a lot of the people on the design team. And I found that really cool because it really shows that they put a lot of heart into this content, and they really try to make it their best effort. Not only did they touch on that, but they also talked about how the story aspect of the raids, and there was a few people stirring a bit of a storm about how raids are, progressing the story a bit or bringing new story into the game that people who don't like to raid are missing out on. Well, that was actually talked about in guild chat as well, and Bobby Stein was talking about the fact that raids really don't add any progression to the story, and it is just side story. But I mean, we sort of touched on that topic in 2 videos ago, so I'm not really gonna talk about it too much. And aside from that, they also gave a little background on the little encounters and little side areas in the raid, and how there's several achievements and a lot of story you can get out from just exploring the raid wing, and just interacting with different objects and reading a lot of the dialogue and a lot of the inscriptions on the statues and whatnot. So it was just sort of a small talk about the things you can do in the raid aside from just the bosses, and just neat little things that maybe you wouldn't have seen or noticed, I guess. So if you want to watch the guild chat, it is a rather lengthy video. So if not though, then I guess I just summed it up a little bit for you. Aside from that, that's pretty much it. Let's head into the E3 content. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, there was someone who, when I say this, please don't take this set in stone. This could simply be a game of telephone here, because the interview was from someone who was speaking Italian, and it was an Italian interview, and that Italian interview got then translated and then got posted on Reddit, and now I'm basically telling you my take from the interview. So it could just be a game of telephone here, where the actual interview said X, Y, and Z, and here I'm telling you X, Y, A, B, and C. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt, but it is some interesting information. A lot of this is just information that we've already known about, that's sort of been confirmed. So a lot of this isn't really anything exciting, but a small portion of it is new material that we haven't heard about. So let's get right into it. First of all, they said that there's going to be new PvE and PvP content for Living World Season 3. It's not only going to be focused so much on story and PvE, but they're also going to try to add more PvP content into the game mode, as well as add more reward tracks as well. I think what I read somewhere, or maybe it was in a video that I saw, someone mentioned that whenever a new map released, they always used to add a new reward track for PvP. So I imagine when Living World Season 3 releases, and maybe we'll get like a new map, because it seems like we're gonna get new maps, it would only make sense to. Perhaps we'll get also new reward tracks for those maps, which would be really cool, because I already finished a lot. I basically finished all the reward tracks already, so I'd love to get a new one. So not only are they going to add new PvP content as reward tracks, but they're also going to add new game modes, and I'll touch on that in just a second. As for PvE content, though, it was stated that they're going to try to release it within the next few months at the end of summer. So end of summer is what? What is officially the end of summer? Like July, right? Or is it August? I mean, I consider August to be fall already, because August, September, October is fall, and then November, December, January is winter, right? Or am I mixing that up? Maybe winter goes to February and summer actually goes to August. I don't really know. It's either gonna be July or August though. So I'm hoping July though, because I really want Living World Season 3 in July. So they said that, which we obviously knew already. But one thing that they did say, which sort of made me sad to see, but at the same time not really, is that you know how we used to get Living World updates every week or every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks or so in Living World Season 2? Well, they said that they're not going to do that anymore, and it's going to be every 2 to 3 month intervals. And my first thought is, wow, that's really long. That means we're only going to get like, what, 4 episodes, maybe 5 episodes a year? And that sort of brings me down a bit. However, the bright side on this is that they're going to be paying a lot more attention to feedback. They're going to be doing a lot more balance work on PvP, and they're going to focus a bit more on quality content with these Living World season episodes. So it's sad to see that we won't get a lot of these episodes, especially since it's going to be every 2 to 3 months, which sucks. But it's good that maybe we're going to get really high replayability, quality content that's really fun, and that maybe we wouldn't mind playing, you know, every 2 months. I'm hoping it's every 2 months, not every 3 months, because at least then we'll get, you know, maybe 5 or 6 episodes compared to 3 to 4 episodes. So we'll see. And you know, you have to remember that these Living World season episodes, they aren't just, oh, okay, let me go play the episode once and that's it. Now what? There are a lot of achievements associated with those episodes that are really fun to do with a lot of your friends. So, I mean, while maybe we are getting, you know, one episode just that has like, you know, what, 3 to 4. I mean, looking back at Living World Season 2, there were some episodes that only really had like 2 or 3 missions. Maybe these episodes can be really big. Maybe we have like 4, 5, 6 missions in them. And then, you know, multiply that times the amount of achievements you have. You have a lot of content there. So don't be bogged down too much by it. But, you know, we just have to wait and see. Now, for PvP wise, like I said, new game modes, this is really interesting to me because, you know, I was one of those players who really liked Courtyard, and the only reason why is because it sort of gave a break in between the whole conquest, and you really could just go crazy and wild, just kill people. It was fun to me, you know. It obviously wasn't fun when you had like 2 or 3 matches in a row, you know, doing Courtyard, because that was just kind of stupid. But you know, every once in a while you get Courtyard and be like, yes, you know, this is, you know, back to Call of Duty Deathmatch where you just kill people. So apparently, there's going to be new SPVP maps coming with secondary objectives. You know, we all know that Guild Wars 2 likes to have these secondary objectives in their PvP maps, and you know, obviously there's still going to be either the Conquest method or the Stronghold method. Now, I think it's more important that they would have touched on whether they're going to be adding more Stronghold methods, more Stronghold maps, or more Conquest map, because that seems to be a gripe with a lot of people when they release a new map. I think it will be. I think it's going to be a really huge problem if they release a Stronghold map and everyone's like, I don't like Stronghold. Or if they release a Conquest map and the secondary mechanic doesn't really fit. So, who knows? But what they did say is that they're going to try to add new secondary objectives, such as performing actions that gain more personal points. So you know how on the scoreboard you have your own personal points? Well, there's probably going to be ways that you can gain more personal points, or you can gain extra team points. There's also going to be a mechanic where you can get more points if you're on a kill streak point modifiers. So maybe if you're like on a 3 kill streak, every stomp will give you maybe 10 or 15 points. If you're on a 6 kill streak, every stomp will give you 20 points, and that seems kind of overpowered, but you know, maybe small things like that would be really cool, because if you think about it, you know, a lot of times when we go on a kill streak, a lot of times when you're going on a rampage in PvP, I mean, what's the difference between you going on a rampage in PvP and actually, you know, killing people in a 1v2 or a 1v3, and then you're really low on health, and then basically your kills count the same as much as someone just getting a stomp on you because you were low. I think it'd be really cool if they added a kill streak modifying in points, because I mean, it would really give one thing that I mean, I don't know if it's something that I don't like, or maybe it's because I play a lot of League of Legends, and you know, in League of Legends you sort of feel like you do something. Yes, it's very team orientated, but you can also sort of see how you personally can make a huge impact. I feel like in Guild Wars 2, it's very heavily team-oriented. There's no way it's very hard to carry a game on your own. It's very hard. In League of Legends, you can sort of do it if you're really good, but it seems like in Guild Wars 2, it's a little bit harder. And I feel like the PvP is missing that side of, you know, personal performance of really being good. And I think kill streak modifiers would be a great addition, where those people who just aren't going a kill streak can actually, you know, mean something. Because a lot of times I see people saying, oh, points don't mean anything, points don't mean anything when they're playing Conquest. And in reality, they don't mean anything, because you can get a ton of kills, and each kill is only worth 5 points. And, you know, some guy could be standing holding 2 points, and that team's going to win because they've just been holding their points long enough. So I think adding kill streak modifiers would be really cool. It would add just another mechanic to the game where it's open for more people playing different ways other than just playing a bunker build to hold points. You could probably play more of a, you know, Zerky build that you could build full damage, just go on a kill streak, and these kill streaks will actually, you know, accumulate bonus points for your team and for yourself. So then maybe points will have more of a meaning. I don't know if that's going to cause some toxicity in the game. Maybe it will. I hope it doesn't. I just think it's a cool thing. You know, why can't we all just be nice and get along and just enjoy the new features, right? Let's just be kind to each other. that's the world goal for everyone, right? And the third mode that they talked about, and this is really interesting to me, it actually brings me back to I forget the game mode. If you guys remember for those of you who are new to the game, probably you don't remember this game mode, but there's a specific festival. I forget the festival now. It happened in February, I think, or January. It was the Chinese New Year festival. There we go. Where there was a game mode where you would throw fireballs at the enemy team, and you know, those were your points. If you could only kill someone with fireballs, and with like special attacks that you can pick up around the arena. It was a really fun game mode. I think it was Dragon Ball Arena. I think that's what it was called, Dragon Ball Arena. And they said that they're going to try to make a new PvP mode where fireball shooting, where you shoot fireballs at the enemies, is going to be like a secondary mechanic. So that's really interesting to me because it sort of brings me back to Dragon Ball Arena. I really like Dragon Ball Arena. It was really fun. So maybe we'll see something incorporated like that. It's a very vague statement, though, that they made fireball, you know, shooting fireballs at enemy teams. Who knows how that's going to work? But I imagine they're going to try to do something like a Dragon Ball Arena. And lastly, they talked about a new fractal. And not only a new fractal, but new fractals. That's plural, new fractals coming to the game. Now, this is something we knew already. We knew they're going to make new fractals. I mean, this has been leaked to us. A developer commented on this, you know, back in spring already. Back when they did the spring AMA, they were already talking about, back when Colin left the company, they were already talking about, oh, we're making a new fractal and whatnot. So this is nothing new. But what is new, and this is really exciting because what was mentioned is that, in fact, let me just read it directly to you because I don't want to say something that isn't accurate. Let me just read it to you directly from the source here of what is actually being said. Okay, so here's what it says. A new feature will be represented by the introduction of a new fractal. The new location will resume the concept introduced at the end of vanilla of the release of Magic, following the defeat of a powerful enemy. Another enemy that has access to a large amount of magic has taken control of this new dungeon, and our aim will be to discover how he was able to do it. The new release will not introduce only this new fractal, but many will be released on a timely basis. So, what this basically means and how I look at it is that, remember how at the end of the vanilla story, and they're talking about the personal story here, we killed Zaitan, right? A lot of people are saying, oh, this is a crappy fight. Zaitan fight was so stupid. It could have been done a lot better. It feels like they rushed it all. Well, it seems like, and this is what I'm taking from it, maybe this is what you're taking from it too, that the new fractal will basically continue the concept of when we killed Zaitan, and we didn't really know what happened. Like, what happened to the body of Zaitan? What happened to all the magic in it? So they're going to try to continue that story, I guess, in a new fractal, where someone might have gathered all the magic from Zaitan's body, and now they're the new enemy, and we're sort of discovering how they did this in this new fractal. And I think that's really cool, because, you know, Mordramoth was a fairly good ending. I liked how Mordramoth was killed off. It was pretty good. But Zaitan was just like, what? We're on a huge ship and we're not even fighting it. We're letting the ship basically kill it. It's like, it was such a lackluster ending, and it really did seem rushed, and we all felt the same. A lot of us felt the same way. The majority of the community felt the same way. So I'm glad that they're sort of looking into that and seeing that people didn't like the ending, and maybe they're adding some more story to it and explaining a bit more what happened to Zaitan's body, and that will be the core story of this new fractal or new set of fractals, and that's really exciting to me because I'm interested in that and I want to see what happens there. So that's the new information we got with the fractal. That's the new information we got of how it will link to the vanilla story. And that's pretty much all the new things we got from E3, from the interview here. And yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Yes, it all sounds very exciting, but we don't exactly know when this is going to come out, if it's going to come out, how it's going to be released. We don't know if these new PvP maps are going to come next year, this year, or they're going to come at all. Who knows? So that's pretty much everything I wanted to go over in the video. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you found it somewhat informative and helpful. And if you've not been, caught up with all the news, hopefully this caught you up with it. I will try to release a raid video tomorrow. Maybe I'm just gonna try to do it tomorrow. I don't know. It might be very lengthy. The video won't be lengthy, but I feel like the editing will, because I'm going to try to cover the escort mission of the Stronghold of the Faithful. It was really fun. I really enjoyed it. It's not very difficult either. It's just really, really fun. And I want to give you guys a rundown of it. I want to talk about it a bit more. And I want to give you like a guide. So for those of you who haven't done it yet, can sort of look at, how I did it and sort of understand it a bit more. And you can do it because I think it's a really easy raid encounter, and if you're not into raiding, it's sort of like, it's a little harder than PvE and fractals and dungeons, but it's not as hard as the raid bosses, so it's a nice balance. So I want to do a guide on that. I'll probably release that video tomorrow, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. As always, any comments, anything that excited you about this video, anything that you just found out that was really cool, anything about E3, about the interview that you think is really cool, lay it down in the comment section below. I'll be down there talking to you guys as usual and answering questions and whatnot. And yeah, if you like this video, if you enjoyed this video, you can always donate $1 to my Patreon. Anything as low as that is always very helpful and appreciated. All you gotta do is click the card in the top right corner of the screen, and it'll bring you to the page. I also have a advice channel, music channel, tutorials channel, and a vlogging channel. You want to check those out. Links are in the description as well as on the end card. And that's pretty much this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. This is GSmaniamsmart, and I'll be back sooner than you think. Don't go anywhere.